Welcome to another episode of the Overcome Diversity podcast. I'm your host, Michael Allison. Today's guest is Cobe Williams. He's a TEDx speaker, a best-selling author now, founder and executive director for Interrupt the Violence. Cobe, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, how you doing? Happy to be
I'm
on the
good.
show.
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Thank you so much for being here. And first and foremost, man, I just want to congratulate you on just being a national global best-selling author. And I ultimately want to salute you, man, for the work that you're doing out there in Chicago, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Awesome, man. So, Cobe, man, for our audience that don't know you, man, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and share with us like your journey of someone that started the process and creating that momentum in regards to like the violence interrupter out there in Inglewood and for the program and the business that you started yourself, man?
Yes, so my name is Kobe Williams, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, South Side, Inglewood, Auburn Gresham community. I grew up in the community where you saw a lot of gun violence and all types of violence in the community. And at an early age, my father was my role model. That's who I looked up to. He went to prison when I was 3 for a murder. He got out of prison when I was 11. He got killed. I spent a little time with him before he got killed, but I remember going to visit him in prison a lot of times. And I was just really getting to know him a little bit, going there. But I remember as a kid how his friends was teaching me at a young age how to represent, right? When I say represent, throw up signs,
Uh-huh.
the gang culture then, the gang signs and different things like that in the visiting room and different things like that. But he is
Hmm.
my role model. So I grew up wanting to really be like him. So
Hmm.
the little time that I spent with him, he has riding fancy cars, a lot of jewelry, dressing clean and sharp. I just looked up to him and looked up to him and all that. He ended up got killed. And my mother was there for me. She did the best she could for me and my brother, my sister, but she was on drugs, so I turned more to my grandparents. They're there for me. But through it all, I was in the street. The street life. It was exciting to me at that time. Gang banging, selling drugs, and making a lot of crazy choices in my life. It led me to the penitentiary. Ended up doing 12 years of my life, like 3 or 4 different sentences.
Hmm.
Went to prison and, you know, in there gang banging, doing things, and just really living that lifestyle.
Right, right. Wow. Man, Cobe, man, if you can tell us or share with our listeners, what was that like for you to come to the uh, the outcome of like losing your dad, someone that's your role model, and now you're kind of like left out here in this world, kind of lost and trying to like navigate things on your own. What was that time period for you like in regards to like trying to like navigate life for you at that particular time?
Yes, man, it was real hard, man. Not having a father in your life, and when I lost my father, man, I was crushed. I was
Hmm.
tore apart, and I really wasn't never myself anymore. Because I haven't really spent a lot of time with him, but I saw him in prison. We was going to visit, but when he got out, I probably spent a year or 2 with him. Really just trying to get to know him, and it's like, man, not having him, and I could relate because me and all my close friends who I grew up with, we all had something in common. We ain't had no father in our life,
Mm.
so it was hard on me not having him. It was real
Hmm.
hard on me, and like I say, he ended up getting killed, and it's the deal with that. And I remember as a kid, as I got older, and as a kid, I just think about revenge
Hmm.
on the people who had something to do with my father. And I remember the people who got locked up for it. I remember going on IDLC, the Illinois Department website, and just seeing when they getting out, when they coming home, because I was just thinking about revenge, revenge.
Damn. All right. So, for you to pick up that lifestyle, right? And now you saw like, what's going on with your mom, so you're in the cares of like your grandparents and stuff like that. Can you talk about that transition in regards to living into that environment and then kind of like now like making that decision that I'm going to get out here in the streets, I'm going to represent, that led you to getting into prison?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, so on the weekend, right? My grandparents' house was the house for all of us. So my
Hmm.
grandparents, my grandmother had 7 kids, so it's about 13 of us. Every weekend we get dropped off at Granny house. So all of us over Granny house. But I found myself being over Granny house a little more than my cousins and and my brother and my sister sometimes because I was kind of like without my father, I was really kind of lost, right?
Hmm.
And my grandparents was always talking to me and encouraged me, "You gonna be all right. Stay positive, hang around the right people, and different things like that." But I stayed, connected under them, and I was still getting in trouble, regardless how I settled that with them. But I was still getting in trouble. So as I was kept going back and forth to prison, they calling, I'm calling, they set up my calls, they send me my money, they send me money, they doing this and that, trying to talk to me and talk to me and talk to me. So it took me a minute to really get it together. I wasn't never there because you know how you be want to make that change in your life, but
Yeah.
sometimes you always think about how your friends gonna see you. It's
Yeah.
like you still want to fit in with the homies and
Yeah.
all that. So it's a few things that really let me know I was had to do the right thing. And when I say that, I remember one time when I was in custody and I didn't see my son like a year and a half. I was in Cook County Jail and my son came to visit me. I mean, not visit me. He came to court while I was going to court. He had to be about 3 or 4 years old. My son, my mother, my sister, my son, mama. I was coming out the back because I was in custody. I wasn't finna go home because I was fighting my case. So I
Hmm.
was coming out the back and I hear shackles on my leg, handcuffs on me, and the judge looked and he told the bailiff to take the handcuffs off me. So as he took the handcuffs off of me and all that, my son walking towards me, we embraced each other. He said, "Man, let him see his son." So I hugged my son. He hugged me and all that. But it's like I'm so happy because I ain't seen him like a year and a half, and he's like he is still a newborn. He 3 and 4. He real young.
Yeah.
But I know I got to go back to lockup.
Hmm.
So I say, "Man, your mother called me, go see what she want all the time." She wasn't calling him. I know I got to go back locked up. As I'm going one way, he going another way. Then he turned around and looked at me and he just broke down in front of the whole courtroom. "I want my daddy. I want my daddy." And I just got so emotional, broke down, crying, tears coming down. And I'm trying to get myself together because I don't want to go back in the bullpen looking like that. You in
Yeah.
jail, so you don't want to feel like, man, what's going on with this? People crack jokes, they talk about you and different things like that. But right then, let me know, man, I really need to be there for my son. Then it made me think about how I used to go see my father like that.
I want to talk about something, Kobe, that I think it's important. Like we're down here in South Florida, and we see the news recently where like there was shooting that took place in Chicago, right? I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. If you can you talk a little bit about, based off your expertise now in regards to like product of your environment and the environment that you're in, how that could cultivate some of your activities and the things that you're doing, and the importance in regards to like being in the right environment so you could change your life, change your mindset, and changing your outcome in life and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm the director of the U.S. programming, right, for Cure Violence Global,
Hmm.
formerly known as Ceasefire. So I started off doing a lot of the work in Chicago. I was a violence interrupter. Violence interrupter job was just to put out fire, like a fireman, put out flame, stop the building from burning down. So that was my job. So right now we do all our stuff national and international, but it's a lot of organizations in Chicago doing a lot of great work. So
Hmm.
when you look at the violence in Chicago, man, it's something else. I
Hmm.
mean, it's like, but the thing is, when I think about the violence in Chicago, even like it's concentrated in certain areas. A
Yeah.
lot of times when people talk about Chicago and all that, they think like, "Oh, no, don't go to Chicago." It's like violence just all over. It's concentrated in certain areas, like different parts, south side, the east side, the west side, and things happen here and there. So a lot of this violence, man, it's like interpersonal. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't so much about gang related and all that. How the news approach it, like, man, it's just a gang war and all that. It's a lot of interpersonal things going on, and and a lot of us, myself, and I see a lot of us, as an early age, we're exposed to a lot of this violence. So people feel like that's the way you got to resolve your disputes. It's in a
Mm-hmm.
violent way. That's what they've been told. I think
Yeah,
about when I was taught in my household, like if you get into it with somebody, you try your best to hurt him. Don't let him hurt you. So we're taught this type of way. So when situations take place, it be a lot of isolated incident that take place, but it leads to something bigger when you're a part of certain particular groups. You know what I'm
right.
saying, in the community. But it's like things happen and it just get crazy. It get crazy, and it's like it's a combination of a lot of things why there's shooting and killing happening. It ain't just one particular thing, but I see mostly myself a lot of interpersonal things
I see.
that took place, and people feel like, man, I see this person now. This the best time to get this person,
Mm,
or get that person, or you might owe somebody some money, or you might try to rob somebody and take something from somebody. So it's a lot of things that's taking place. But you have to remember when you've been exposed so much senseless violence yourself and been either a part of it, you think it's okay. That's the way you got to handle things.
it just become like a norm.
Yeah, definitely like a norm.
Yeah.
It's like it's cool. It's like it's okay.
Let me ask you this, Kobe. What inspired you to dedicate your life now to this activism? Because I assume that there was a transition, like after you served 12 years in total, whatever, that you said, I'm changing my life and I'm going to dedicate and come back and start being an interventionist where I'm just interrupting things that's going on right now. What was that pivotal moment for you, man?
So it's a few things. My grandparents always stayed on me. That's one
Hmm.
thing. What I was just sharing with you about my son, because I wanted to
Right.
be there to raise my son. But the
Hmm.
street organization I was a part of, Mr. King Shorty, we just call King Shorty, Shorty Freeman. He is the
Hmm.
founder of the group I was a part of.
Hmm.
He came home for doing 28 years sentence. He's like, man, Kobe, we need to do something different. So he was always on me also. But I
Mm.
thought about it. I started losing a lot of friends to gun violence or losing them to prison. So it's a lot of things that shape me up to say, man, I need to do better. I got to help my community. And one thing too stood out to me too while I was incarcerated. A lot of times what used to be, we used to watch the Channel 9 news.
Hmm.
And I used to see all the senseless killing. Grandmamas and granddaddies can't sit on the front porch. You know how little girls play double dutch, little
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
can't play football. I'm seeing all the senseless killing in the community. I say, man, I got to do something about this. I was part of a lot of this madness that's taking place now. So I came home and just started volunteer with Ceasefire at the time, got that opportunity. And I say, man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But a lot of times, brothers and sisters need opportunities like these violence prevention organizations. And Ceasefire at the time had been around, and it really gave a lot of brothers and sisters like me a second chance. And that's why when I talk about my book, One Man Journey to Heal the Streets and Redeem Itself, people just need opportunities. They need a chance to really redeem themselves because yes, they they knew the choice past, man, really hurt them in a lot of different ways and all that. Because when you're in prison, who doing time with you? Your family, so your loved ones. Then a lot of people you lose your mother, your brother, your sister, your niece. You know what I'm saying? You lose a lot of people right in there. So I really just want to come home and really redeem myself. Right? I want to know, show that I'm now than than I was before that place. I had a chance to educate myself, the new information, a lot of new skills.
Mhm.
So the work
Let's
I'm
talk a
doing
little
now,
bit.
man,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's incredible.
Go ahead and
I
finish,
love
man.
the work I'm doing now, man. It's great, man, and it feel good to do this type of work, and it feel good to see brothers and sisters all over the world a part of this movement, though. And most of us took so much out the community, and most of us giving back. But this what we supposed to be doing, because we have tore down our community so much.
Absolutely, man. I know part of the way of you giving back is you just released this book, man, which is now a bestseller, man. Can you tell us a little bit about the book? What can readers get from your book, and where can they find the book, man?
So they could definitely find that book on interruptingviolence.com. Interruptingviolence.com. And I want this book to, inspire other people, to let people know you're not alone. And I always live by this. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
Hmm.
And I want people to understand redemption is real. It's important to give people a second chance. A lot of times people look at our past and feel like we ain't gonna mount to nothing. People just throw the key. Like when we are some locked up, like we still locked up out here sometimes. I feel like that because people still look down on us for the things we did in the past. So I want this book that's to inspire people and motivate people and let people know, man, you can do better. You just need that second chance. So and let people know just because you made bad choices in your life then, that don't mean you still have to make them choices when you get that opportunity. And that's what Ceasefire at the time, like I say, is Cure Violence Global. We provide a lot of new information, a lot of new skills to help brothers and sisters understand just because you have a disagreement, you ain't got to lead to violence. So provide ways where you could de-escalate a lot of these situations where it won't lead to violence.
I noticed that you've done some extensive amount of work, man. Two of the ones that I noticed that you did was the Noah's Ark Foundation, and then I noticed that you started
Mhm.
stuff with some NBA players in regards to getting back to the community, in regards to like spreading the word and like bringing and cultivating a movement and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about that, man?
Yeah, so I say about 2011, I was in a documentary called The Interrupters. They
Hmm.
did a documentary on Cure Violence Global, the work we do in the community. So a good friend of mine at this time, Joaquin Noah, was playing with the Chicago Bulls. He saw the documentary and he sent a tweet, say, man, Interrupters is a must-see documentary. Everybody need to watch it. I sent a tweet back, thank you for watching my movie. He sent a tweet back, check your inbox. He sent me a cell number. We locked in from there. And I remember I was at the United Nations showing the interrupters. And somebody, I say a 646, who is this? It was Joe King calling me, say, man, this your boy Joe King. I say, who? Joe King. So it was crazy how we met. And I was like, man, because I wasn't finna answer the phone because I was like, I'm in New York because, we got a lot of sites we partner with down there, right?
Right,
And I'm like, man, I had to tell them I was coming. Because, in a good way, how when you go places, everybody want to see you, but you
right.
can't see everybody. So I don't say I'm there and all that. So, yeah. So Joe King said, Kobe, man, when you back in town? I said, I'm in New York. He said, you in my backyard. He said, let's meet at PF Chain. We met at PF Change out there in Deerfield. We just locked in. So he started going through the community with me, giving me a lot of Bulls tickets, bringing a lot of young people together and different things like that. So we formed the one city to bring 28 violence prevention organizations together for basketball. And what I'm saying for basketball, so the 28 organizations, they participants, who they working with, the young people every day, 16 to 25, like high risk young men who live in that lifestyle
Yeah.
and all that. So we use basketball just a hook to bring everybody together. And right now, basketball is just a piece of it, but we do workshops with them and different things like that. Family literacy, just everything we trying to do to educate these brothers
Man, I
and
love it, man.
sisters, because we finna start a girls league. But Joe King is the one who really been pushing that to get more NBA people involved. Now we got our brother Tony Allen involved,
Yeah.
one of the best defensive players, Tony Allen, and also what we doing with everybody. So like I say, I work with Cure Violence Global. So when we start programs to implement the model different places, everybody got to go through a Cure Violence 101. That's like an overview. So
Right.
the NBA players, celebrities who want to be a part of what me and Joe King them doing with the
Hmm.
one city, everybody got to sit in the Cure Violence overview 101, this so they could understand violence, because we look at
Hmm.
violence as a disease. It spreads, it spreads, it spreads.
Hmm. So I want to also expound on this a little bit because I saw that you was doing some international work, Trinidad, Tobago, Nigeria, but one of the countries on there is where I'm from, is Jamaica. So if you can talk,
Oh, Jamaica. That's okay.
so
Yeah,
if
so
you
we did a
can,
lot of work.
yeah, man, tell me a little bit about it when I go down to Jamaica and I went out there though.
Yeah, so oh yes. We spent a lot of time in Jamaica, man. I spent a lot of time in Montego Bay and Kingston and all that. And I must throw this in there. You know, I like going to Scotches, get me some good jerk chicken down there.
Yeah, man.
So we trained over 200 to 300 people down in Jamaica in all different parts by Montego Bay. And I remember driving when they first had built the highway. I remember we drove from Kingston to Montego Bay on the new highway, and it took us and hours to get there. But it was good to do some work there. We was working with an organization called PMI,
Hmm.
Peace Manager Initiative, and all that. And Jamaica just reached back out to us to try to do some more work down there. And we did a lot of work in Trinidad, Tobago, Port of Spain, and 18 communities. Did a great evaluation, show that the cure violence model really worked. And we doing a lot of work in Mexico and different places like that. But Trinidad and Jamaica, that's where I spend most of my time at, helping set up them programs there for cure violence.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing, man. Now, if you can talk a little bit about you put together a team, you put together an organization, and you're making so much of a tremendous impact. When you look back at from where you started at to where you're at now, and all of the things that you've accomplished, and the momentum that you've built, what is it that you say to yourself like every single morning where you think about like all of these things that you've done, man?
I mean, I always say this. I'm just happy to be a part of the movement, right? I'm so happy, and I got a lot of co-workers who do a lot of great things too, right? And
Mhm.
I'm just happy, man, that I'm a part of this, because getting this opportunity to help me get myself together. Now it's helping me get other people to get them on the right track, but it's also showing that what we doing out here is really needed all over though. So like you said, I see you did a lot of research here on Cure Violence Global with the website, international. It's great because, man, when you hire the right workers to do this, man, you really see a reduction in shooting and killing. The people are doing the work out from their own community. We just got a system to help them set it up, but they doing the real work, and we provide a lot of training and different things, and making sure they select the right people, making sure they doing them, implement the model right, and different things like that. So I'm just happy to be. I'm just a part of the puzzle. That's it. I'm just happy to be a part of the puzzle to really take this work serious. I've been doing it close to 20 years, and it really, I know what it done for me,
Mhm.
and it do feel good going all over the world, setting up the movement and different things like that, man. I feel great. So when I wake up in the morning, a lot of times I am happy about where I come from and what I'm doing to get back to the people though. So it's just really an honor, and it's like, it's a lifestyle now, because what I'm doing and what my coworkers doing, man, we doing some remarkable work. And like I said, it's a lot of great organizations doing some great things out there also. It just feel good. What I
Good.
would have thought I'd be doing this 20 years later, no. I mean, I I ain't had no idea, man. But I feel great being able to do this and help out, because this country need everything, and all these countries need help for real.
So I was going to expound on that. So how do you maintain hope and motivated in this ongoing world of violence and conflicts, right? Because every single day that you turn on the news, you listen to the radio, there's at least one shooting, if not up to five violence things that the news is going to try to capture your eyes with, your ears with, and something like that. So how do you maintain that, like if that's always constantly out there, and also kind of like telling you like the work is not done?
Man, yes, the work is never done. Yes. But I think what helped me is, family. My coworkers really motivate me, and we motivate each other though, because we brought into this process, right? We
Mhm.
brought into this because we know we took so much from the community. So we brought into the process, like, man, we really got to keep going hard. We really got to make a difference. We really got to do A, B, C, and D. So that's what give me a lot of hope when I'm talking to my people who doing the same work like me. And I'm constantly on phone calls. We constantly on site visits. We constantly doing trainings and all that. So that's where I get a lot of my strength and my energy from. If you know, dealing with people who really live their life like me and what they doing now. And that's why I say when I think about the book, redeem, redemption, and all that, it's so real though. When you
Right.
give a person an opportunity,
Right.
it's so real, man.
So you're going into communities, you have a team, and you're speaking, and you're sharing your message and stuff like that. For Kobe himself, how do you maintain your balance in regards to like your peace of mind and your well-being and stuff like that? Because I can imagine if you're like in this space and you're hearing this stuff every single day, every single week, right? So how do you maintain your solace, your peace of mind? How do you like get yourself centered? How do you get yourself back grounded, knowing that you still got to continue this fight, man?
Uh, Man, I look at it like now I feel like this what I'm supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
This what I got to do. So me maintaining, I look at it like, man, the work come first. I live by that. This what need to be done.
Hmm.
It's like people need us. People life really depend on people like me. You know what I'm saying? People like me, and definitely people who look like me. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Life really depend on it. So I just know I'm just really want to just be out there. It ain't just me. It's a team of us really just want to be out there constantly, man, making a difference because people need us. A lot of times we know where our kids and our family at and everybody are, but some people don't have anybody. So we want to contribute to helping them and helping the community as a large. So just constantly doing the work get all us hope a lot of times, and it inspire us more and more every day. Like, man, we doing good. It feel good when you knowing you could go in the community and you stopping somebody for shooting and killing each other. It feel good when you see these brothers you've been working with for about 4 or 5 months. Now they getting along with each other. Now they mediate disputes on their own without calling us. It feel good you see brothers and sisters getting job opportunities and different things like that. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
It
It is.
feels good when I'm using an example in some neighborhoods, some places there's 100 shootings last week. I mean last year, but now it's 50 shootings. So that's a 50% reduction. It feels good to know what we are doing, are working in these communities. That feel good.
Absolutely, man. I do got to ask you this question because you just talked about kids, but when we first started this conversation, you talked about your dad, and then you talked about yourself when your son came up to you, man. Thinking about it now, man, your father, you see the transition, right? Can you talk about what has that been like to know that you're in your kid's life opposed to what it was like for you, man? And then if you could share some words of advice to some fathers that's out there, some kids that's listening to this podcast, man.
Oh man, it feel good to be in man my kids' life, man. And I remember it some years ago, but my son was riding down the street with me in the car, and he was like, "Man, Dad, I'd be crazy to do some crazy stuff what these kids do now, cause I know what you went through."
Mm.
That made me feel good. And there's a once upon a time my kids used to always, when I came around, they used to always, oh, here comes ceasefire, because that's the organization. Then ceasefire. They say, Dad, could we talk about something else than ceasefire? Because that's all was about. It's
Mhm.
ceasefire. I'm representing, like when I was representing that street part, I'm representing the organization I'm a part of, because I know we making a difference, and people love seeing us when we pull up in the community. So to see where I'm at, and just to see my son see what I'm doing and all that, man, that's a great feeling, man. And the seeing I've been going hard with it, and he
Yeah.
always said, man, Daddy, you've been in this for a minute. Because when we have community activities, community events, and all that, he always, my kids saw a lot of that, coming to events and different things like that. But to still be doing this work 20 years later, man, it's a lot. And I remember when I first started, I was laid off 3 or 4 times without getting paid to do this work.
Mm.
But I continued doing it because I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing, man. I
Right.
got to get back, man. I got to help my people, man. So I knew that's critical.
What advice would you give to a father that's listening right now, or to someone that has a family member that's
Right.
probably in some like these violent situations, or is around that community, man?
So the advice I give to a father is, man, embrace your kids, listen to them, what they saying, what they doing, what's going on with them. Try to be involved in their life. Just do a lot of listening. A lot of times we ain't got to do a lot of talking. Spend time with them. See what they want to be in life. Pick their brain on what's going on. Make them feel comfortable where they feel they could come talk to you. Don't judge them. Meet them where they at, though. It's important for parents to meet their kids where they at and just listen to them and let them know the great things they doing. So a lot of times as parents, we always point out, he ain't doing this and she ain't doing that. Let them know to empower them, but let them know the great things they doing every day. Don't focus on negative things and all that. I mean, we have to remember. I think parents, it's important for parents to always know that they was kids before too. They was young before too. So though I like you just got away for that because you're an adult now and they're a kid. I know we always want the best for the kids, your kids, and all that, but listen to them more and all that, and don't come down on them hard. Where when I say come down on them hard, where you'll lose them, where they don't feel like they could come talk to you.
Hmm. For the listener that's listening, man, how could they adopt this mentality, this mindset in regards to becoming an activist or an interrupter within their community, man? Because when our audience hear this, they're gonna like, well, how could I? Hey, violence is around me. Violence is in my community. What can I do? What are some advice that you could share?
The best advice I tell them, definitely go to cbg.org. Go to the website, read it. You can learn a lot on that website. I still be like I've been doing it for 20 some years, but I still go look on the website and different things like that. So it's important to go on the website, see where they got a lot of these CVI programs, community violence intervention programs in your city and all that. Go see what the programs is about. Go to some of the community events. Just get involved somehow and all that. I think it's important though for parents to get involved to know what's going on. Please don't wait till something happened to get involved. Sometimes we wait till something happened, then it hit home. Then sometimes I ain't never saying it's never too late, but try to get involved because when you get involved, you might be saving your kid's life or somebody else's kid's life.
Most definitely, man. If you can, man, before we get ready to wrap up and get out of here, man, what are some things that you guys got upcoming for the future for yourself and for the organization?
Right now, I want to. So I was in Miami, Florida last week with Circle Brotherhood. And what we trying to do, we trying to push this book, Interrupting Violence, One Man Journey to Heal the Streets and Redeem Itself. Want to come out and talk about the book. We're encouraging cities and all that to bring us in. What they did, they brought 100 books for the community and passed them out to the community, and we had a chance to sit down and have conversations about the book. Want people to look more at what Cure Violence Global do to help communities all over the world and all that. And man, just let these youth know you love them, you care about them. Please do that.
Absolutely, man. So from your story, man, and from your journey, what are some lessons that they could take away, man, from your story, bro?
Um, my biggest thing is it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change. And sometimes you got to relocate sometimes. You have to change your surroundings. You got to do things in a different way sometimes where you can't be stuck and be so mad and beating yourself up at what you done in the past. It's time to grow from that. You know, it's time, like we talking about redemption and redeem yourself. Yes, it's important people to know. Like, I know I made these bad choices then, but these the choices I'm making moving forward. So don't be so hard on yourself sometimes. And a lot of times that's what happens when people feel like, man, I've been knocked down so much. I did so much. I can't get it right. You can't get it right. Just keep pushing. I look at myself. I ain't give up. I'm still pushing. And I still got a lot of more work to do to keep giving back to the community.
Absolutely, man. So when you made your transition, man, if you can you give us some of the people that were critical components in your life, man? Whether it was mentors, whether it was coaches, whether it was accountability partners, whether it was a specific program or something like that came in and then helped create that shift for you where to the point of where you're at now. Because I think that's a big component that sometimes I think people miss out on in regards to, like, you can't do everything by yourself. You know what I mean? And I think
Yes.
if you can you share if there was
Yes, you
anybody?
definitely. Yes, you definitely got to have a support system. So family, um, mentors. So Mr. Freeman, like I say, the founder of the organization I was a part of, he came home from prison. He helped push me to do better, to change my mindset and my thinking. Me and Joe King talk about violence prevention all day, every day, a lot of times. You know, um, Cure Violence Executive Director, Chief Operation, and a lot of my coworkers, we constantly talking about the work and why it's so important. So a lot of times people do need that strong support system and all that, even when you first get out of prison and all that. And and I think back by my grandfather, my grandmother who talked to me, you know, just everybody, man. Your wife, your kids, everybody. You just got to have some people who in your corner who really care about you a lot of times and all that. And some things you gonna learn on your own though, because everything ain't gonna be handed to you.
Right, right, right,
Sometimes we got to make changes ourselves.
right.
We got to still change our environment a lot of times and things we used to do, and if we want to help ourselves grow too.
Most definitely, man. Man, Cobe, if anybody wanted to work with you, book you, find out more about your book or your upcoming shows and things like that, man, where can they find you on the internet, social media? How can they get a hold of you, man?
Man, they could reach out to me. I'm an open book. They could call me at 312-543-1372. For real. They could definitely reach out, man. I'm about helping the people. And they could go on Cure Violence Global website, cbg.org. But I'm on Instagram, social media, Kobe Williams. And so I mean, it ain't hard to find me, man. And I'm definitely would love to come to their city and talk about the book and talk about violence prevention and everything, and just talk to them about everyday things,
That's what's up,
everyday
man.
life things. Yeah.
Hey, Kobe, man, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast, man. I truly appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. And I'm really, man, I really enjoy this, and thank you. And love the energy, my brother. Definitely.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. Guys, if you like this podcast episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Go follow Kobe on social media. Until next time, God bless.
God.
Ain't it all? Couple dollars in my pocket, no income and go. Been working on my body, getting healthier. Thank God.